Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Boy George, born George Allen O'Dowd on June 14, 1961, is a British singer, songwriter, DJ, fashion icon, and cultural trailblazer, best known as the flamboyant frontman of the pop band Culture Club. With his androgynous appearance, soulful voice, and eccentric personality, Boy George became one of the most distinctive figures of the 1980s music scene. Early life: George was born in Eltham, Kent, England, into a working-class Irish family. Influenced by glam rock icons like David Bowie and Marc Bolan, he embraced an alternative identity early on, clashing with traditional norms. Before rising to fame, he immersed himself in the London club scene, working under the alias Lieutenant Lush, and becoming part of the new romantic movement. Breakthrough with Culture Club in 1981. George co-founded Culture Club with Mikey Craig, Roy Hay, and Jon Moss. The band blended pop, reggae, soul, and rock. And their unique sound, paired with George's eye-catching looks, quickly found commercial success. Their debut album, Kissing to Be Clever, 1982, produced the hit single, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?, which became an international sensation. The follow-up, Color by Numbers, 1983, included the chart-topping classic, Karma Chameleon. Culture Club became one of the era's biggest bands, winning the 1984 Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Solo career and later work. After Culture Club disbanded in the late 1980s, Boy George launched a solo career, with hits like Everything I Own, 1987, topping charts. Over the years, he has released numerous solo albums, explored electronica and dance music as a DJ and producer, and even founded his own record label. George also made his mark in musical theater, co-writing the autobiographical stage show Taboo, 2002, which earned him a Tony nomination. Personal struggles and comeback. Boy George's career was marked by struggles with drug addiction and legal troubles, particularly during the late 1980s and early 2000s. However, he has since become a vocal advocate for sobriety and LGBTQ+ rights, often discussing his journey in interviews and books. He experienced a resurgence in popularity in the 2010s, thanks to his role as a coach on The Voice UK and Australia, as well as high-profile Culture Club reunion tours. Legacy: Boy George is widely recognized as a pioneer of gender fluidity in mainstream pop culture. His unapologetic self-expression helped challenge societal norms and paved the way for future generations of LGBTQ+ artists. Beyond music, his influence extends to fashion, art, and activism. With a career spanning more than 4 decades, Boy George remains a vibrant figure in pop culture, known not only for his hits but for his resilience, reinvention, and unapologetic authenticity. Musical evolution and experimentation. Boy George's musical career has always been marked by eclecticism and reinvention. While the early Culture Club years were dominated by soulful pop infused with reggae and new wave, his solo work took more risks. Albums like Sold, 1987, showcased his deep appreciation for classic soul and blue-eyed pop, while later projects leaned heavily into electronica, house, and dance music. Under the alias The Twin, he released more experimental, club-oriented material that explored themes of identity, fame, and desire. He also became an in-demand DJ and producer, especially in the 1990s and early 2000s. Spinning in clubs across Europe and the US, his DJ sets often included house, electro, and techno, and he compiled several mix albums such as Essential Mix, Boy George and A Night Out with Boy George. Cultural and fashion influence. Boy George has always been a fashion trailblazer. In the early 1980s, his appearance, marked by dramatic makeup, braided hair, hats, and colorful garments, challenged conventional ideas of masculinity and femininity. Styled often by himself and collaborators like designer Judy Blame and milliner Stephen Jones, George became a symbol of the new romantic era, frequently appearing in magazines, on television, and even in museum exhibitions about fashion and subculture. His style combined elements of punk, glam, and global fashion, influenced by everything from kabuki theater to Rastafarianism. His bold image helped define an era where music, art, and fashion collided. Personal life. George has been open about his sexuality for decades, identifying as gay, though in the early days of Culture Club, he often gave deliberately ambiguous or cheeky answers to media questions. His complicated romantic and professional relationship with Culture Club drummer Jon Moss was a source of both inspiration and tension, with songs like "Do You Really Wanna Hurt Me?" believed to reflect aspects of their relationship. He has published several autobiographies, including Take It Like a Man, 1995, a candid memoir about fame, addiction, and coming of age; Straight, 2005, documenting his journey through recovery and public scandal; Legal Issues and Redemption. In 2006, Boy George made headlines after being sentenced to community service in New York following a drug-related incident. Later, in 2009, he served time in a UK prison for an assault charge, which deeply impacted him. He has since spoken about these events as turning points in his life and committed himself to sobriety, meditation, and personal growth. His comeback has been both personal and professional. In interviews, George often speaks with clarity and humor about his past, showing a level of self-awareness that has endeared him to a new generation of fans. Recent projects and recognition. In recent years, Boy George has remained prolific. He reunited with Culture Club in the 2010s for global tours and new music, including the 2018 album Life. He joined reality TV as a judge on The Voice UK and The Voice Australia, where he gained praise for his mentorship and honesty. In 2023, he appeared on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, in the UK, introducing his persona to a wider mainstream audience again. Honors and impact. Boy George has been honored for his contributions to music, fashion, and LGBTQ+ advocacy. His legacy includes breaking gender norms in pop, influencing artists like Sam Smith, Adam Lambert, and Harry Styles, representing queer culture in an era when few mainstream figures did. In 2023, he was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, for services to music and culture. Boy George's story is not just one of fame and flamboyance, it's a powerful narrative of transformation, creativity, and resilience. Whether through music, fashion, or his unfiltered honesty, he has remained a bold voice and an enduring icon. Theatrical work and Taboo. One of Boy George's most acclaimed artistic ventures outside of music was his foray into theater with the musical Taboo, which premiered in London in 2002. The show was a semi-autobiographical story centered on the 1980s London club scene, featuring characters based on real-life figures such as Lee Bowery and Boy George himself. George wrote the score and some of the lyrics, earning praise for his songwriting and storytelling. Taboo received 4 Olivier Award nominations in the UK. When it transferred to Broadway in 2003, produced by Rosie O'Donnell, it was met with mixed reviews and a short run, but Boy George was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Original Score, further establishing his reputation as a multifaceted artist. The musical later achieved cult status, especially among fans of queer theater and fashion history, for its boldness and sincerity. Boy George as a DJ and club icon. While his fame as a pop star defined the 1980s, George re-emerged in the 1990s as a respected DJ and tastemaker in the international club scene. He headlined major events across Europe, Asia, and North America, spinning a mix of house, trance, and progressive dance music. He released a number of DJ mix compilations, such as Essential Mix, Boy George A Night Out with Boy George In and Out with Boy George. He also co-founded More Protein, a record label that helped launch and support other dance artists. Through this phase, George helped shape the post-rave club culture, mixing underground credibility with mainstream reach. Artistic ventures, writing, painting, and photography. Boy George has also explored visual arts, including painting, photography, and writing. His bold portraits and colorful abstract works have been exhibited in galleries in London and beyond. His art reflects the same expressive, flamboyant spirit that marked his fashion and stage persona. As an author, aside from his autobiographies, George has written essays, poetry, and reflections on fame, addiction, and spirituality. He's known for his wit, honesty, and ability to confront personal demons with grace and irony. Spirituality and recovery. After years of struggling with addiction, Boy George embraced Buddhism, mindfulness, and karma yoga as part of his recovery journey. His involvement with the Hare Krishna movement during the 1990s and early 2000s provided spiritual grounding, though he has since cultivated a more individualized path to peace. He often speaks about meditation, gratitude, and self-awareness as vital tools for his sobriety and creativity. This spiritual growth is reflected in his more recent lyrics, interviews, and public appearances. Cultural club reunions and later albums. In 2018, Boy George and Culture Club released Life, their first studio album in nearly 2 decades. While not a commercial blockbuster, it was well received by fans and critics for its emotional depth and mature songwriting. The album dealt with themes of redemption, resilience, and acceptance, echoing George's own journey. The band embarked on multiple reunion tours, performing to sold-out arenas around the world. George's live vocals remained strong, and his stage presence, equal parts theatrical, humorous, and heartfelt, continued to captivate audiences. Boy George today. As of the 2020s, Boy George continues to tour globally with Culture Club, appear on television shows and reality series, release solo music via streaming platforms, engage with fans on social media, where his candid posts and colorful commentary maintain his reputation as a pop icon with personality. In 2024, he released a memoir titled Karma, My Journey, offering a deeper look into his life, fame, family, and future. It was praised for its emotional honesty and literary flair. Final legacy. Boy George is more than just a pop star. He is a trailblazer, cultural provocateur, and survivor. From glam and new wave to house music and theater, he has left an indelible mark on every field he's entered. His fearlessness in embracing his true self, even in the face of criticism, paved the way for a more open and expressive generation of artists. He remains one of the few true originals in pop culture, unapologetically bold, brilliantly talented, and endlessly evolving. Global influence and LGBTQ+ advocacy. Boy George has long been recognized as a queer icon, not just for his androgynous style and openness about his sexuality, but for the way he redefined masculinity in popular culture. During a time when LGBTQ+ visibility was still limited, especially in the mainstream music industry, His unapologetic appearance and presence offered representation and hope to many. Though he rarely described himself as an activist in the early years, George's existence in the public eye, especially in the conservative media environment of the 1980s, was inherently political. Over time, he became more outspoken in his support for LGBTQ+ rights, HIV/AIDS awareness, and anti-bullying campaigns. His personal story of survival, self-acceptance, and evolution became a beacon for queer resilience. In the 1990s and beyond, Boy George lent his name and support to numerous causes, including Stonewall, UK LGBTQ+ charity, Terence Higgins Trust campaigns against homophobia and transphobia in the arts and education. He has also spoken in support of same-sex marriage, gender fluidity, and artistic freedom, consistently using his platform to amplify diverse voices. Iconic collaborations and cultural moments over the decades. Boy George has collaborated with a wide range of artists across genres, from pop and soul to dance and alternative. His collaborators include Marc Almond Pet Shop Boys PM, Don Faithless Amanda Ghost Tony Bennett. One notable moment was his 2001 duet with Luciano Pavarotti, performing Peace on Earth at a charity concert, a pairing that symbolized his mainstream appeal and versatility. George has also made cameo appearances in films, TV series, and pop culture events. His unmistakable look has been referenced in everything from RuPaul's Drag Race to Absolutely Fabulous and even The Simpsons. Influence on future generations. Boy George's artistic legacy has profoundly influenced generations of performers and designers. Artists who cite him as an influence include Sam Smith, who thanked George for making the world more accepting for someone like me; Adam Lambert, whose glam rock look and voice recalled George's own 1980s impact; Lady Gaga, who built on the kind of gender-blurring theatricality that Boy George helped pioneer; Harry Styles, whose androgynous fashion and genre-hopping echo George's early boldness. He is also regularly cited as an inspiration in the world of fashion by designers such as Vivienne Westwood, Jean-Paul Gaultier, and Alexander McQueen, who saw in George a fearless embodiment of self-expression and subversion. Memoirs and reflections. Boy George's autobiographies are among the most candid and engaging ever written by a pop star. In them, he doesn't shy away from topics like addiction and recovery, heartbreak, fame's dark side, reconciliation with his family's spiritual journeys, and the search for peace. His 2024 memoir, Karma, My Journey, reflected a more philosophical, even spiritual Boy George, still witty and irreverent, but clearly more grounded and at peace. The older I get, the more I realize that the greatest costume you can wear is your truth. Boy George continuing to evolve even into his 60s, Boy George has shown no signs of slowing down.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.